Lake Show, Mother's Day edition. Give it up for that. We're about to get started in 10 seconds, and once I get down to 1, I need a big round of applause. Everybody stand up, give your best round of applause for our host. All right, 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Celebrate mothers. It's amazing that Woodrow Wilson in 1914 put it into the institution that Mother's Day would be celebrated annually and that it would be a national holiday on the second Sunday of May each and every year. But I'll be honest with you, the idea of celebrating mothers didn't start with Woodrow Wilson. Didn't start there. We can go all the way back to the Bible and we can see how God felt about parents in general, mothers as well as fathers, when he put it in the commandments. Honor your what? Mother and father. It just shows us how much God esteemed parents. So we're here on this morning. We want to dedicate this time of the Link Show with a Mother's Day edition. We have a few guests on this morning that we want to sit with and we believe that you will enjoy. Our first guest is Sister Sandra Martin. Give it up, y'all, for our first guest, Sandra Martin. Thank you for being with us. Our second guest is Teresa Dozier. Our third guest is Rolanda Cotton. And our final guest who will be with us on this morning is Bertha Sherrod. So I think we're going to have an amazing show on this morning, so just sit back and enjoy as I have a conversation with these mothers who are all in different seasons and stages of their lives. There's a microphone behind you, mothers, if you would grab that. And if you would, take 10 seconds each and just tell us your name and how many children you have and the ages of them, okay?
Testing. I'm Sandra Martin. I have 2 children. My son is 36 and my daughter will be 35 next month.
All right. Miss Teresa Dozier?
I have 2 girls. I have 2 girls. The oldest one will soon be 32 and the youngest one is going to be 23 next week.
Rolanda Cotton, 4 girls, 14, twins that are 11, and an 8-year-old.
Bertha Sherrod. I have 2 children, a daughter, First Lady Dana, 37 years old, and my son, Dwayne. He'll be turning 27 in June.
All right, y'all give a hand for our guest. All right, we're going to get right into it. And our first question is, did you attempt to parent just like your mom? And how has that worked out for you?
Yes, I did at the beginning, but I realized that parenting like my mom was not beneficial to my children, so I did have to switch it up. So therefore, it will be beneficial to them and as me as well.
All right.
Me, not so much. although there were times in parenting that I would catch myself and I would be like, oh, there she is. So I didn't, she was real strong on discipline. If you did something, you got a spanking, and I was like, never gonna spank my children, never gonna spank my children. Brittany's only had one spanking, so. But yeah, no, I didn't, not so much.
Anyone of you others, did you try to parent like your mom, and if so?
I couldn't parent like my birth mom because she died at the age of 23. But my stepmom, no, I did not want to parent like she did. So I thought she was a little bit too strenuous on children.
How about you, Sam?
Yeah, I did parent like my mom. I had a great mom. She was very understanding. She disciplined us, but she wasn't overly harsh. And she just was a loving mom and always trying to do the best for us.
Great, great, great. Next question. What is one of the biggest mistakes you made as a parent? And how would you do it differently if you had a do-over?
I'll take this one. Biggest mistakes I made was trying to have my own life and not thinking about the repercussions of my mistakes on my children's lives, because they went on the roller coaster ride with me, but it affected them and hurt them in some ways, because I was supposed to be leading them and I was lost. So, but I thank God He brought us out.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. So how do you think that your spiritual life, how much of an impact did your spiritual life have on raising your children and the impact of how they can turn out?
It was everything. It was everything, because I had to pray about a lot of things. And I think when you keep God first, He's going to bring it out all right. It's going to make all the mistakes you made, He's going to cover. The blood of Jesus covers that. So I'm thankful that God saw me through it, but I prayed, and I'm still praying.
Amen. In that scripture, train them up in what? In the way they should go, and what? When they're older, they should not depart. They may sway for a little bit, but the promise is that they will come back. Do we have any testimonies in here that you strayed, but because of what Mama put inside of you found your way on back home, didn't you? All right. Anybody else, some of the biggest mistakes that you made as a parent, and if you could go back and have a do-over, how would you do that?
For me, I would say consistency, for as it was a time where I went through depression, so I just kind of let things slide by and I didn't address them. So now it's harder for me to give that positive reinforcement because I missed it then. So addressing things when I should have addressed it instead of letting them slide, that's been the biggest thing for me. And being consistent with far as discipline and positive reinforcement.
That's good. That's good. Consistency, it brings about an expectation from the children on the results, especially in the area of discipline. Teresa?
For me, I think as my girls got older, I was very smothering. I was just always in their business, want to know what was going on, every little thing, like, what are you thinking? Why aren't you talking to me? You know, just too smothering, I think. Trying to be maybe in control a little bit. Pray for me. I'm in control for you. Just maybe just like back off and let them, know that you let them know you're there, but let them come to you. Don't always just be so like down their throat, because I think it just makes them like shut down completely.
That's good. That's good.
Well, for me, it was like I didn't feel like I spent as much time with my daughter and my son as I should have. When Dana was coming along, we had my husband, her father, was still living up until she turned 10, but he always said, I'm going to raise her up until a certain age, and I want you to take over. So I guess I did just let him do the raising up to a certain time. So that's one of the greatest mistakes I feel like I made, that I didn't really take the time that I necessarily needed to have spent with her.
That's good, and I'm going to jump out on a limb and assume that there's a lot of mothers who can probably attest to that that's their story, that's their testimony. Now their children are adults and they look back and they feel like, you know, maybe I should have went to a lot more games, and maybe I should have had a lot more tea parties with them. But I feel like as long as there's still breath in their bodies, that there's still an opportunity to get some things right that you possibly got wrong in the future. So for those in the audience, I challenge you, if you have adult children and you feel like you just didn't give them that due time and that just time, instead of assuming that it's over, guess what? You can take that opportunity now to start having real tea parties with your children. They won't be little fake cups and sitting on little small tables in the bedroom, but now you're able to go out to lunch and go out to breakfast, and there's no way that you can bring back or reclaim the time that was lost in their life, but you can start fresh and you can still build something that can be amazing, that can last throughout the years. Our next question is, have you ever compared yourself to other mothers and felt like a failure because your children didn't measure up to other children? And if so, how did you overcome the comparison trap?
I did that with my oldest daughter. She had both parents in the home, and her best friend from early middle school, she was raised by her grandfather, and he was pretty old, and she didn't have no mother. Mother passed away, no father. And when I tell you, this little girl always did everything right. She just was like a good kid. She made good grades. She never got in trouble. And then, being that her and Terry were best friends, I'm like, okay, this is good. You made a good choice with this one. But I'm like, why did I struggle so hard with having, her being just rebellious towards the sky's blue, no, it's light blue, where this little girl just had, a grandfather, and she just walked the chalk line. Like, it was like, I just never understood that. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, where did I fail her at? Like, there was something missing. So, not really compared myself to that, but just kind of felt like I wasn't doing something right. And she didn't have neither parent and was doing everything that she was supposed to be doing. So.
Anybody else felt that same way? Experienced that?
Yes, I did compare myself with other mothers at the church. It seemed like all the other mothers' children were, growing up and doing the thing that they needed to do. And I was like, Lord, well, what's wrong with my children? I've done all I can, that I thought at the time. I kind of see where I might have made a mistake, but and in comparing myself to them, I went to the Lord and I said, Lord, what can I do? I mean, what should I do? So he gave me to go to one of the mothers in the church, and I talked to her, and she told me exactly what I needed to do for us trying to help raise the two children that I had.
That's good. That's good. Let me say something about that, and that's wisdom that God has gave her to go to some women who had already experienced what she was going through, who had already went through the seasons that she was either in or about to embark on. So I challenge and encourage younger mothers in here, or those who plan to be mothers at some point, that you seek out the older women, those who have been there, done that. I think sometimes, we have this pride, not just women, not just in the areas of mothers, but in many areas when we're young, we have this pride of not wanting to go to those before. We want to make our own way. But guess what? God said there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing that you will experience as a mother. There's nothing you experience in any area of your life that someone hasn't already paved the way, that somebody hasn't already made the mistake in, that somebody hasn't already been successful in. And that's why Paul even challenged the older mothers in the church that you teach the younger women. You teach the young wives, you teach the younger mothers. So I think there's a challenge for both. If you're younger, to seek out the seasoned mothers, those who have been there, done that, and attempt to gain wisdom from them. But also the challenge and charge on the other side is for the older, the seasoned mothers to go and grab the younger ones and say, hey, I'm willing to share some things about what I experienced in my life that you could possibly avoid. And I think that would be beneficial to everybody around. Anybody else experienced that?
I did have two really good friends of mine. They had two children also, and I would compare myself with them, but then I thought, you know, they also had husbands. I did too, but I got a divorce. But I could see the difference that the men made in the kids' lives, and that they need that balance. But I was down on myself one time. My son was acting up. He was a teenager. And one of my guy friends, he just said, you know what, Sandra, you are doing an awesome job. You're doing it all by yourself. Your kids are not in trouble, never been in jail. They great in school. This is a little rebellion, but don't worry about it. They're going to come out of it, and you're doing a great job, and that really helped me.
That's good, that's good. So let me ask you this question, or actually, could you share some wisdom? If just so happened in the audience we have a father who may not be as present as he could be, or maybe somebody who will watch this live on YouTube or in another online capacity, what would you say to that father who isn't as present in their children's life and may not really understand the impact that it's having on the children? What would you say to that man?
Well, I would encourage them truly to be present in their children's lives and to try to influence them in the good ways and to bring them to church, not send them to church.
That's good, that's good. Now, let me ask you this question. What would you say to that mother who's in the audience or may watch this in the future who is punishing the child's father because of problems that they've had together, and punishing the child's father and not allowing him to have the relationship with their children that he wants to have? But I think sometimes we miss that. We always focus on the dad not being there, but we never really deal with the mother who is restricting access to the children because that's her way of punishing them. What would you say to that mother about what how she's impacting the children through that restriction?
Well, I know she's going to regret it because I did the same thing. I didn't restrict my seeing our children, but he's an alcoholic and I really didn't want that influence on them. But at the same time, I realized I was disrespecting him. And that has affected my children, especially my son, who now clings to his dad because he didn't have him growing up. But don't make the mistake of putting your feelings in it. It's about the kids. And you got one time to do it. And once that time is gone, it's hard to recover once they're grown.
That's good wisdom. Y'all give God praise for that. Our next question, we'll move on, is what advice would you give a mother of toddlers to help them in the early years of being a first-time mom? What advice would you give a mother who has smaller toddler children who this is their first time around being a mother?
I would say to cherish every moment. I know as toddlers, they are very, very, very busy. They're very busy, and make those moments memorable. Even when they are acting out or they're terrible too, as they say. But cherish every moment and make it a teachable moment.
That's good. That's good. I think
Be patient with them. Because sometimes, like they say, they're active, but learn to be patient with them and love them the more. It's like the more you love them and be patient and give them that attention, undivided attention that they need, they'll grow up, they'll be all right.
I would say don't. I see a lot with little toddlers, little kids, mothers screaming at their children, just screaming, like, you're dealing with a baby, just, get on their level and lower your voice, have some patience, like I'm sure Sherrod said, and just stop screaming, like you're going to get so much more out of a child if you just lower the tone. And I was guilty, but just try to lower your voice and come at them on their level so that they're not fearful of you all the time.
We'll move on. The next question. What is the hardest lesson you learned as a mother that another young mother could avoid? What's one of the hardest lessons that you learned that another younger mother can avoid?
I would say to not be in denial when someone comes to you, or like a teacher or even a family member, and say, oh, Johnny or whomever may have a problem, or I see this in him or her. Please don't be in denial, because as an in denial parent, it makes it harder for the children. It's help out there for you, whether it's anything from speech to physical therapy, anything in that emotional piece. Just not be in denial. Pay attention to your children every single day. When they come to talk, listen. We know sometimes they may talk us to death, but there's something that he or she is trying to tell you, and you don't want to miss that.
That's good. Anybody else? Got good? Everyone? Okay. Next one. What was the toughest part about being a single mom? And what would you say to new and younger single moms, for those who are single parents or have been single parents? What's one of the toughest parts about being a single mom? And what would you say to some younger single moms?
I would say the toughest part for me was feeling like I had to do it all. It's a lot of pressure. You have to be everything to the children. And sometimes, you need a break. You need to pamper and take care of yourself. And then I think a lot of times we feel like we're failing. And my whole thing is just do everything in love, and then it's going to turn out good.
Yeah.
I just kind of piggyback off of Ms. Mother Sandra. For me, it was balancing, having 4 kids. My youngest was 6 months when me and my ex-husband separated. So I had a 6-month, 3-year-old, and 6. I was crazy, y'all. I didn't know if I was going or coming, but I had to say, okay, Rolanda, just get yourself together. And yes, it was times that they saw me, not in my right mind, or just sad or crying or whatever. But I had to get on a routine. I knew when I had to come home, I had to bathe, we had to do homework, then dinner. That routine is everything. And sometimes I was very, very prideful as a single mom. And that was the worst thing ever. If you have pride, throw it out the door. Ask for help if you need help. You cannot do everything. If you don't open your mouth, who will know? So if you have pride, throw it away.
Well, that's good. And it almost says you don't have to be super mom. You don't have to wear the cape. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have all the answers. You have help. You just have to be willing to go and ask for it, as she said. Put the pride down for the sake of the children. Right. You going to say something on that?
Well, Gordon really spoke what I said, what I was thinking. As far as the, I thought that left me.
You were dealing with the toughest part of being single, and what would you say to the younger single moms?
Oh, yeah, I was basically saying, just take time for yourself. Because sometimes, I know I didn't do it, and I wished I had. Maybe I wouldn't have went into that state of depression that I went into. But take time for yourself. Get with a group of younger women that have children also. Do outing, go out, do something together. Enjoy yourself, and basically just take time for yourself.
That's good, that's good. Next question. How do you balance giving your attention to multiple children so each one feels noticed? Is that easy, or is that a struggle?
It is definitely a struggle. It's been times where it's homework time and I have 2 here, 1 here, and 1. I'm like, hold on, y'all, wait a minute. But you have to, once again, it's all about listening, recognizing. When I drive them to school in the morning, it's the twins, that's their time. When I pick up in the evening, it's Miera. At night, it's my oldest. During the day when we come in, it's the twins. And of course, it changes, but you have to recognize that time. When they want to talk, once again, you need to drop. You need to listen to whomever it is. And I mean, it's still a struggle, but as a parent, I have to recognize and say, okay, they need me right now. Or even if it's in the kitchen, as you're cooking, oh, I want to help. Let them come and help you. You may want to get in there and get done, but that's that time. They're learning, and that's when they're more comfortable to come and talk to you.
Let me ask you this question on that. What would you say to a child's father who is active in their life? Just say they have certain days or holidays or times where they get them, and they every time they're there, when you call, they're there. But how can they be more a part of their lives on a daily basis during the week when it comes to homework? Is that something that they should want to be a part of on a daily, weekly basis, more than just when they pick them up, take them to their house?
Yes, if you are a father and if you can pick up, drop off during the week, do so. My oldest ones have said, Mom, I wish my dad can pick me up from school. Or, you know, they see their friends, dad picking up or dropping off. So as a father, if you're able to do that, do so. When it comes to homework, even if it's a call, you have FaceTime, you have Hangout, whatever. Be available to your child because they want to know that you're smart like them, or you can help them with this math or this reading, not just saying, oh, I need you to do better in school, but be proactive, be there, help, assist, make those times meaningful and purposeful and not just being there.
That's good, that's good. Does somebody else want to chime in on that? How do you balance giving your attention to multiple children so each one feels noticed?
Well, I'm going to say that I learned that by disciplining my children. One of them would not respond the same way as the other would. So I just realized they're so unique. So I had to minister to them through their uniqueness. And it really helped me because they understood, I'm dealing with you, I'm disciplining you. This has nothing to do with your sister or nothing to do with your brother. And it really helped because they realized that I was looking at them only and recognizing the unique person they were.
That's good, that's good. Did y'all want to share anything on that?
I just say that treat them like, I have two girls, they're 9 years apart, so trying not to treat the second one like she was like the first one. So anytime something came up, I was always like, She would be like, not my sister. So just keeping them, you know, that they're their own person. They're not, just because they're related sibling-wise, they're not the same. They're different people.
That's good, that's good. Next question, how did you or do you balance parenting, work life, and personal life?
You don't.
She said you don't. I know you've tried. So how have you tried, and what's some advice that you could give to younger mothers or those who are in that season right now, trying to figure it out?
I think it goes back to what Ms. Sanders said, that you really have to take time for yourself. And if you're married, if you're not single, you know, just for your relationship, and just make sure that you take that time out to, you know, relate to one another, have time for one another, because sometimes, not, you know, I can't speak for fathers, but being a mother is a full-time job, and it's like, it has a lot of overtime in it, and even when we go to bed at night, we're still thinking, like our minds, like, it's like, okay, shut down, it's time to go to sleep. You know, when you have your spouse there, you're like, I'm sleepy, I might got my mind on other stuff, you know. It's hard to keep that balance, and, you know, that causes disconnect, which leads to other things. So, yeah, just try to make that time for each other.
Great. She said that mothering is a full-time job, so I think right there we can just have a celebration break. Let's celebrate mothers again. Okay, who else wants to chime in on that? How did you or do you balance parenting, work life, and having a personal life as well?
Well, I'm going to say it's a constant struggle. But when you have friends and family, sometimes they pull you back into reality that that you're spending too much time with the kids, or hey, you need a night out, or go have lunch. So sometimes having your support system there, it really helps out.
Good. Rolanda, let me ask you this specific question, kind of like the balancing in the personal life, because you're engaged. Y'all give it up for And again, as a reminder, how old are your children again?
My oldest is 14, twins are 10, and my youngest is 8.
Okay, so somewhere in there you found a way to get out and go to the movies or something of that nature. And I've heard a lot of single moms, especially those with smaller children, have decided to just kind of not date at all. And even some with the mindset of, I'll just wait till my children move out the house. I don't even want another man around my children, or I don't even want to invest in that time. How did you deal with that, and how did you overcome that? Because obviously it worked out for you. So what would you say to a young mother, a mother who has multiple children, who's in that situation, in that thought process right now?
Well, to be honest, when I got divorced, I did not foresee getting married again. I was like, first of all, the man don't want me, and I have 4 kids. That's something that was told to me, and I believed it. And my fiance now, I did balance that, and I just said, look, when my kids are with their dad or friends or family, that's when we need to go out on our dates. Because once again, I have 4, they had things going on. He understood, and I told him up front, listen, I'm a single mom of 4 kids. It may not be, sometimes I cannot go out, you will not come to my house, or you will not even be around until a certain point. So he respected that. And it was difficult, because it was times that I wanted to go out, but I couldn't. But he also understood, and we just had to learn to communicate and hold conversations on the phone. So,
That's good. Let me encourage that single mother with multiple children who, I'm going to say it like this: the devil has told you nobody will want you. The devil has told you that you'll never get married, nobody wants to raise somebody else's children. The devil is a lie. And he'll do anything to take your peace, because guess what? There's somebody who will love everybody. And Rolanda is a living witness that with 4 children, that God sent her someone that would not only love her, but that will love her children as well. And listen, and she's not lucky. She's just a woman who has sought God. And God said, I have somebody for you. And her children love him as well. So there's somebody out there. Hide yourself in God, and he will send you one in due season. Amen? Okay, next question. What would you say to a mother who is just now entering the season of parenting an adult? What are some of the struggles and advice you would give in relation to parenting adult children? Let me say this before you answer, while you're thinking about your answer. To those of you in the audience, to those who have watched this, parenting season is never over. That's a lifetime. Being a provider will end one day, and hopefully it should. You should be providing for 35-year-old grown children, but parenting will last forever until at some point you get old enough to where then they become the provider and the protector. But as far as parenting, that doesn't end when they go to college. That doesn't end when they turn 21 and get married. That'll be a season that you'll be in for a long time. So what would you say to that parent whose child just turned 18, is just going to college, just about to move out the house, because they're old enough to make their own decisions now? What would you say to that parent who's in that season or about to enter that season?
Well, I have 2 adult children, and when they became of age, both of them decided, I want to get out on my own. So I would say support them, still guide them, give them wisdom, never close the door. They may have to come back home.
That's good, that's good. Never close the door, I like that.
I would say just give them the space to let their wings spread, and it's hard because sometimes as parents they don't want to hear what you got to say. You know, they're like, why are you trying to run my life? Why, I got this. No, you don't. You know, I just would say that be patient and, be consistent in what you say, because even if you think they're not listening, I know there's been times where I didn't think they were listening, but I see things come to pass and I'm like, oh, okay, she is listening.
Yeah.
Just, be consistent in what you say and be patient, because they don't always want to hear what you have to say.
Good, good. When you have two
Be
adult children.
understanding. I always have an open ear. With my son, I say there's like night and day between him and my daughter. But I had to really kind of like back off a little bit, because at first I was a little bit judgmental, I'll put it that way. But as the Lord dealt with me concerning him, I've become to open up my ears, listen to him more, and close my mouth more.
That's good, that's good. Next question, there's a possibility that we have some teenagers in the audience. What would you say to the children in regards to how to make their mom's job easier?
I would say listen. When they ask you to do something the first time, just do it.
Say it how you really want to say it. Say it how you really want to say it.
Do it, not the second time, not the third, just the first time. It makes it easier for you, and it makes it easier for the parent.
Yes. You won't have to have a soft behind. Say hard head, make a soft behind. No, you don't have to be soft. All right. What would y'all say to that teenager who's in the audience or may possibly run across this video? What are some things that they can do to just make a mom's job easier, less stressful?
Just say, don't buck the system all the time. Like, what's expected of you. There's most homes have rules and chores and things that you have to do, and to make the house flow. Just like do your part. Like, to make a house work, everybody has to be involved. And like Wanda said, just the first time, do it the first time. Jaden, he's king of. But if you would have just did it the first time, then you would have to hear the second and third time you're busting it.
Yeah.
Just do it the first time.
You hear that, Jaden?
Yeah.
All right. So you won't have to get thumped in the lips if you just stop and smack on the lips, okay?
I would say to the teenagers, just realize your parents, they love you.
That's good.
And they're trying to guide you. You might think it's, I don't want to do what they say, but we're looking out for you. And we've been down that road, and some of us have done worse than you're doing, so we know the repercussions. But if you just will listen and be considerate.
Yeah. See, this is what I'll say, that mom is not hating on that new boy. She's not blocking per se. She's not trying to stop you from enjoying and having fun with your friends. The thing is that she's been there. She's done it. She dated that same type of boy, and she knew how it turned out. She just hasn't told you yet. So all you hear is, hey, mom's trying to block. She don't want me happy. She don't want me to enjoy life. No, she just hasn't told you that she was in that same situation with that same type of boy with his pants hanging down and with tattoos at 13 years old. She's been there, and she knows the pain that you'll endure. So she's just trying to stop you from having a little pain and a little headaches and a little crying spells that she had. Yeah. All right. Next question. What would you say to husbands in the audience or that will watch this later on in regards to making their wives' job as a mother easier? What advice would you give that husband on how to make mom's job a little easier?
I'd say just be present. Just because you're there doesn't mean you're there. Be active, and I think discipline is a really hard thing for parents. Like, you really have to be on the same page, husband and wife. Like one can't be saying one thing and the other one saying something else. You gotta be on the same page. Like, back me up. If I'm saying it, don't, just kind of try to be on the same page and be, present in all things, not just what you think that the fatherly role or the manly role is in the house. Just, that goes both ways.
So explain this, because they may not understand it. What does it mean? What did you mean by you can be there but not be there?
I mean,
what does that look like?
Sitting in your chair when the house kids are screaming and hollering, she's trying to cook dinner or laundry or whatever's going on, and you're just like in your own little world, like you don't hear or see anything that's going on. With 4 kids, I can't imagine. I had 2, and they're 9 years apart, so one was graduating high school and one was still in elementary or going into middle school. Just, be present, like, with what's going on, whether it's helping with dinner, doing a load of laundry, bathing a kid to get them ready for bed after they eat dinner, just being present, not just being there.
Good, that's good, that's good. Somebody else, what would you say to the husband and how he can make mom's job a little easier?
Well, I'm going to say, when I was married, and let's say we had an event to go to, and I had 2 little kids to get ready, and my ex-husband would just get himself ready and just go watch TV or whatever, and I'm struggling, I'm doing hair, I'm ironing clothes, I'm bathing them, and then he would complain and say, well, we're going to be late. So I said, well, you know what, why don't you brush your son's hair? Why don't you make sure he's brushing his teeth? Why don't you come up here and do a little ironing? And I said, don't complain to me if you're not going to help.
Can any mothers attest to that? Don't raise your hand if they're in here. Anybody else, what would you say to that husband on how to make mom's job a little easier, if you have something on that? You don't? Did you want to say something?
No, not really good. I mean, the laugh boy does that sound like mine. My husband just, he'd wait long enough for me to get dressed, and by the time I got ready to get my daughter ready or whatever, he's like, okay, I'm gone. Some days he'd go off, and it's a good thing we live around the corner from the church. He'd go off and leave for us. We wouldn't be ready on the time that he wanted to go. So I can relate, Mother.
Good. Okay, next one. For those of you who are grandparents on the panel, what would you say to a mom who is just becoming or about to become a first-time grandmother in regards to how much they should assist their children in parenting?
I say spoil them and send them home. Spoil them and send them home.
But in regards to your children?
Yeah. It's tough because they don't want to hear it sometimes, when you're trying to tell them something, or she'll say, I'll say something, and she'll say, well, you never let me get away with that, or you never let me do that. I think with age comes patience, and just as a parent, learning along the way. There's things with my grandbabies that I see myself doing that I never really took the time to do with my kids. So I just try to tell her a different way from maybe how I did it, where I fell short, to try to help her so that maybe she doesn't fall short, just to try to encourage her, just not necessarily to do it my way, but just think about maybe doing it a different way.
That's good.
Just make a few suggestions.
What would you say, Mother Sandra? Being in that situation, you have a daughter who has kids.
Yeah, it's just a joy though. I don't mind helping. Sometimes I want to take him and I tell her, go do whatever you want, this is my baby. You had him, but it's mine. But I do help my daughter a lot, and I don't mind because I realize she's not married and she needs my support. But I also step back and let her parent also. She has to learn, and I only will talk to her after if I feel like she could have handled something differently. I don't show my grandson that we're divided or that I don't agree. But sometimes I'll just pull her aside and say, hey, maybe you could have done this or that. And she appreciates that, and I think my grandson will eventually know.
That's good to know. There's encouragement the first time or younger grandparents to help your daughter or your son parent, but don't do it in front of the children. So they'll understand who still has the final authority. It's not grandma, but it's mom. Our final question. Have y'all enjoyed this? Yeah. Our last question for every one of you on the panel. We can start this way and go that way. What is the most important nugget or an important nugget that you could share with mothers who are in your current season of motherhood?
I'm going to say, growing up, the parents and grandparents, at least mine, they didn't do a lot of telling their children they love them. They didn't do a lot of hugs and kisses, and I changed that. Even for my mom, I made her more of a person that would hug and kiss and say, I love you. Because you never know when the last time you're going to see your children. You don't want to go away angry. And I forgive my children very quickly, and then I've had to ask them for forgiveness also.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I would say just try to take the time to enjoy the relationship you have with your children. Like for me and my girls, it's like I probably enjoy them now more than I ever have. It's still trying at times when you're trying to still be that mother and they're adults and they're not listening, but just try to be in the moment. Like don't go backwards, don't try to look too far ahead, just kind of live in the moment and just enjoy them like where you are and where they're at.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I'll say patience and listen. In our generation today, I think we need to listen and be aware of our children. Be in the know. I know Mother Sandra said, Miss Teresa said she was too much, but nowadays you have to be. Because there's so many things that's going around. Social media, even in schools, bullying and things of that sort. So be available, listen, pay attention. When they are off too long, what are you doing? Ask questions. Go into the schools, see what's going on. It's important.
Look at them beds and them pillows.
Can you ask that question again? Because I
What
don't think
are one of the most important things that you could give to a mother? Your final thought, advice and wisdom that you could give to any mother who's in the audience or that will watch this at some point.
Okay, I'm going to say this. Learn to be long-suffering with your child. Don't be so impatient with them. Always be there, as others have said. Have that listening ear. Because they may have something, to tell you that you may need to listen to.
Amen. Again, did y'all enjoy this today? Let's celebrate our panelists. Come on,